Everybody's ready. Okay, great. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us to discuss Caribbean wellness. My name is Doreed Whitlock. I am with TASC. I do the PR and communications for TASC Travel Advisors Selling the Caribbean. I'm also president of DSW Consulting. And today it is my distinct pleasure to be the moderator for the wellness webinar that is a part of our National Wellness Month celebrations here at TASC. So we've mobilized a very dynamic group. We have 8 wellness experts from they're located throughout the region. And today we hope to engage in an enlightening discussion about our wellness product in the Caribbean, looking at some of the product offerings, looking at the impact of COVID on our wellness products, and looking to explore new opportunities, new ideas for the future of wellness in the Caribbean, which is growing at a rapid pace. So with a packed agenda here today with so many panelists, let me jump right into it and introduce our panelists. I will start with Stephanie Rest. She is with Caribbean Wellness and Education. We have Karen Birch Ebanks. She is a Caribbean Wellness Advocate. We have Paulette Clark, who is the Group Spa Operations Manager for Sandals International. She's been there for over 20 years. We have David Bowen, who is a Yoga Wellness Director at the Grace Bay Club in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We have Aidan McCauley of Sugar Ridge. He's also the owner of Hike Caribbean and Yoga Antigua. He's in Antigua and Barbuda. We have Dr. Samantha Semilar, and she is with Ojas Spa and Wellness in St. Lucia. We have Carmen Portela in Puerto Rico, and she is with Bana, a company that she will tell you a bit about. And we also have Callis St. Jules, who is with La Mer Spa at Bay Gardens Resort in St. Lucia. So let's jump right into it. And I'd like to introduce first Carmen. I know Carmen is dealing with some issues today. I won't get into it, but we're going to give Carmen an opportunity to go first. As I mentioned, she is located in Puerto Rico. When you mix a successful career with travel and tourism, years of experience, pioneering in social media, and a deep passion for travel, what you get in a nutshell is someone like Carmen who brings vast experience. She's big on sustainability, and I'm going to introduce Carmen and give her an opportunity to tell us about some of the wonderful programs that she's working on in Puerto Rico. And tell us, Carmen, about wellness in Puerto Rico. Tell us about the destination and your viewpoint on wellness.
Hello, good afternoon. And just not to be secretive, it's just that before falling asleep, take off your contact lenses. I'm suffering from an eye injury and I'm sensitive to the computer. But I really wanted to be here with you guys today. It's a different kind of world that we're living right now. Bana is a new project of my team. My company is called Local Guest. We work on sustainable tourism experiences, and when we talk about sustainability, we mean, it basically means taking into consideration the present and future implications of our business. And everything that we do is based on that, thinking about locals, 100%, how these experiences, in this case, wellness, can contribute to the local economy, how can contribute to the environment, not damaging the environment, and how it's done through fair trade. For us, it's very important that everything that we do with experiences, if it's wellness, hiking, nature-based, everything is done via fair trade. Bana is the pivot from my company because it's COVID pivot. I think we're all rethinking our businesses a little bit. We're all rethinking ways to sell our product and ways to sell the Caribbean. In the case of Puerto Rico, we've been commissioned to work on a project through our foundation, because Love Emotion has a foundation that's called, Local Guest has a foundation that's called Love Emotion. It's a whole trail system that connects Puerto Rico through trail lanes, and I think there's a big market for hiking. I think there's time that we start showcasing the Caribbean for its true beauty, its people, and its natural resources. So Bana came about thinking about how we all the time was talking about sustainability, and we noticed that people thought that sustainability is very far off, so difficult to attain, so difficult to live a more conscious life in everything that we do and how we travel. So that put us into perspective that if people don't know how to travel more responsibly or how to live, they probably don't know how to live more responsibly because it seems complicated to them. So Bana touches 6 pillars of sustainability through sustainable living: home and garden, design, style, self-care, and of course, travel. In the case of self-care, we have concentrated ourselves in talking about healing. I think it's a very important time for us Caribbean people to talk about healing and how nature can heal. And it's all over the Caribbean, especially in our islands. We have from beaches to mountains to rivers. So the vast majority of our islands are super rich in nature resources. And I think we have focused on beaches, which are wonderful. They're extremely healing, but there's other areas of our countries that are beautiful. For example, my co-founder, Monica Perez, she is trained on forest therapy. And this is something that it is new to me, but it's not new to her. And we have seen how forest therapy, just a forest therapy walk or a nature walk, just changes people's whole perspective in a day. Just sitting down and being close to nature, hearing the noise, hearing the sounds of nature can truly heal. And when we thought about all this trailing, hiking, nature-based experiences, of course, we thought before COVID. So now we are finding ourselves in this new market, in this new world where we have to still maintain the Caribbean in top of mind, still find our own sustainability as entrepreneurs in our own space, in a world that touching can, and groups, big groups, is not possible. So I just wanna talk about a little bit about what we are envisioning for the next couple of months and how I would love everybody to get together and try to figure out this together and how we can sell the wellness in the Caribbean through virtual experiences. We started, we launched that past weekend a whole day of 2 days of virtual experiences. They're all wellness based, from nature walks that were virtual, therapy, forest therapy, where the therapist is in the forest and is talking to you while you are close to nature in your patio, in your garden, close to a plant. This brings the notion of being part of nature and connecting with nature, even through virtual. I know it's not ideal. Nothing that we're living is ideal right now, but I think there's still ways for us wellness experts to still continue to touch hearts, heal, and still showcase our country's natural resources. Yoga classes, prenatal yoga. There's so many options right now to still stay connected with our clients virtually, still showcase our product, still showcase the Caribbean. And when the time is right, these experiences can be done live. So last resource, please visit livebana.com. And I would love everybody to participate. I'm extending the invitation to collaborate to every single panelist, to every single person that is here. I think it's time to unite forces and create together and create the new, what the new world, the new Caribbean will look like, what the wellness industry will look like in the Caribbean. And I'm up for the challenge. It will be challenging, but I think our product is there and our clients are waiting for it.
Great. Thank you so much, Carmen. Do you actually sell tours? And I know we have lots of travel advisors who are always looking for a new product to try to sell wellness as a holistic experience. Are you actually actively selling packages and that type of thing?
Yes. Before COVID, we had a plethora of more than 30 experiences that were all nature and community based, that included wellness experiences through nature. Now we are in the process of launching a membership program that would include virtual experiences with the same providers that we had and a couple of other providers, local providers from Puerto Rico. But we're also open to providers from the Caribbean. I think when all of my projects have always been Caribbean based. I'm a Caribbean, I'm from an island, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I think the Caribbean, if we unite, I think there's opportunities for the world to truly see all the natural resources that we have and everything that we have to offer. So be on the lookout. We're gonna launch this membership program for virtual experiences that will include forest therapy, will include yoga, will include Ayurvedic experiences too, Ayurvedic programs that are done virtually too. So I think that right now we just have to be very creative of how we sell future product, right? Start showcasing what we have to offer in a safe way, using technology to our advantage. Because wellness and technology, who would have thought, right? But I would be very honest. In one of the second, third week of this whole lockdown, because Puerto Rico, we were in lockdown since first week of March, and we still are with a curfew. I did a forest therapy meditation through a virtual experience with my co-founder, and it brought me so much peace. So if we can offer this to our clients, we can start healing each other, even virtually.
Great. Thank you so much, Carmen. Next up, I'll call on Stephanie Rest. She is the educator in wellness, and I know she has some strong ideas about the Caribbean being the one of the original wellness destinations in the world. And of course, Stephanie is big on selling wellness as a holistic experience. And of course, our theme today is health is the new wealth in the Caribbean. For many of us who have always thought that the Caribbean has so much to offer, this is definitely the season to embark on promoting more of our unique selling points as a wellness destination. So I'd like to invite Stephanie to share her thoughts on wellness with us and to update us on some of the initiatives that she's been involved in over the years throughout the Caribbean. Stephanie?
Yes, thank you very much. And Carmen spoke very eloquently. She's on our board for Caribbean Wellness and Education. And I'm very excited to see her pivot into this new virtual wellness reality, as we're all pivoting, I think, on this call right now and learning different ways. So what an inspiration that is, Carmen. Congratulations to you and your new company.
Stephanie, thank you for showing me the way.
I can't wait to hear more. Carmen is so supportive. If you ever get the chance to go to Puerto Rico, which we encourage, as much interregional travel as we can, you should definitely visit Puerto Rico and contact Carmen for a wellness experience now or just a local guest experience, because Carmen is definitely one of the pillars of Puerto Rico, and not only for the local community, but really uplifting small B&Bs that she's introduced me to, local artisans. Carmen is really just one of the community organizers there, and I've never met such a great person. So congratulations to Carmen. I almost get emotional. It's seeing people's progress.
I have a wonky eye and he's crying already.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So, wellness tourism is a $564 billion industry. And that statistic was recorded in 2015 by the Global Wellness Institute. So I've been kind of marching and beating my drum for a long time in the Caribbean, having lived with David Bowlin for 4 years in Turks and Caicos, is where I began my journey in 2014 at the Palms, and just really fell in love with the Caribbean. I never expected to move there, but I got to know the locals and the local beauty. And the more I traveled and the more conferences that we created that Karen has been to, and Miss Paulette over the years, and really bringing community and awareness to all of the offerings that the Caribbean has to offer. And really, if God could create a perfect place and said, this is wellness, to me, that is the Caribbean. So I don't think there's really a need to reinvent the wheel. I think the offerings are there and they exist. It's just us, as Carmen spoke about, coming together as a united unit, which I don't think we've been able to do in the Caribbean successfully as of yet, to really tell that story. Because what's amazing to me, and always a learning path, is that each destination, island, group is so unique and different in their own way. So if we could collaboratively put that together and tell that story and share that offering, I think people all over the world would never lose interest, because there's such a unique offering of wellness opportunities, people, music, arts, anything you are looking for in the region.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks so much, Stephanie. I'd like to call on Aiden next. Aiden is the owner of Sugar Ridge Resort. He also is the founder of Hike Caribbean as well as Yoga Antigua. So Aiden, you are our authentic supplier. You actually put together products. So tell us a little bit about some of your initiatives. I know that Sugar Ridge is Green Globe certified, and you're always on the move with lots of new ideas and initiatives that really help to anchor the tourism product throughout the Caribbean. So tell us a bit about your viewpoint, some of the things that you're working on to advance wellness throughout the Caribbean.
Hello, Doreed. Hello, all the other panelists. It's great to speak to you all and know that we're not the only ones out here trying to figure this out. We opened Sugar Ridge 10 years ago, and we are an unusual hotel in that we're not on the beach, and we were virgin hoteliers, so we really were just putting in place things that we liked and believed in, and I certainly already enjoyed going on holiday and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, doing yoga and hiking. So those are the things that we brought to Sugar Ridge. So when we opened, we already had yoga in place. We had a yoga studio, and we had a hiking program, which took in the highest peak, and a nature walk to discuss the plants and natural life. And that ended up on the beach. So everybody loved that. And we had a little cultural walk in the village, which so it showed people how people lived here, and certainly in the past as well. So we always had that sort of wellness thing, but we found over the last 10 years that those programs have become more popular, and certainly the research shows that yoga tourism in 2015 was the biggest growth, and then hiking tourism was the biggest in 2018. So we've been very much pioneering those at Sugar Ridge. We have more recently built a beautiful yoga pavilion called The Shed, which is basically the prime real estate at Sugar Ridge. It was meant to be where I built my house. So, there's no tucking things away in the back anymore. It's right out front. It's got beautiful views of the Caribbean Sea and the valleys. And last season we were doing 2 yoga classes a day in there, and we were doing capoeira, gong baths, cacao ceremonies. And we also did, musical literary evenings. So it's not just, your standard, fitness and diet. It's, it's all the things that are feeding your mind, body and soul. And we even have a little festival up there. We have a full moon fireball party every month. So those are the things we're doing. And through the Green Globe project, which we've now got our Golden Green Globe for having the Green Globe certification for 5 years, we actually are, cleaning the beaches, doing community projects. We're supporting charities, and we actually do have some visitors that come down to work with the community and to get involved in some of those initiatives as well. It is few and far between. That this has been a passion of mine to direct Sugar Ridge in this direction, but to fill a hotel still in Antigua is, a lot of people want to come on holiday and put their feet up and drink beer and eat steak. So we still are doing all that too. I'm not sure if Antigua is quite that destination, but to sort of supplement our offering, my love for hiking, I've lived in the Caribbean for 17 years, and I've been around most of the islands. I've claimed most of the highest peaks. And I've met most of the guides and stayed in great hotels that are best placed to do these hikes. So I've now brought those itineraries, made them available for our guests to go throughout the Caribbean. Obviously, right now with COVID, travel is difficult with various different protocols and negative tests required. So really, we're focusing on one destination at a time rather than multi-island hopping itineraries. But we are developing an app as well, which will be for unguided hikes, really. Although we still think the guides are very valuable and have a lot of knowledge, and people will probably want that. It's still very socially distanced hiking, but it gives people the opportunity to actually go out on their own if that's what they wish. At Sugar Ridge, we've got lots of other protocols like that coming in. We've got digital menus. We've got more in-room dining options. We have remote check-in as well, so that people don't even have to come to reception. But for me, if you're coming to the Caribbean, you want that warm, smiling face as well to greet you, and you want to share a cocktail with the bartender. So I think that's where our challenge lies. It's not a business trip; it's a once in a lifetime experience, and we have to come up with some new things for these for our visitors so that they can maintain that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Aidan. Just curious, Aidan, what would you say? You've hiked the entire Caribbean. Tell us about one of your most favorite experiences, if you had to recommend one.
Well, I know you want me to talk about Redonda, but I'm not going to. I did hike Redonda, which is a little rock that belongs to Antigua and Barbuda. It's 1 mile by a quarter of a mile wide, and you have to climb a real steep, climb to get up to the top. It used to be a guano mine, so they used to back before World War II. It closed eventually, so they've still got loads of bits of old machinery up there and some old buildings, but it's all been taken over by the seabirds, and you've got beautiful views up there. So it's quite a climb, it's quite a thing, and not many people have done it. And there's a black lizard that lives there, and the boobies live there, so it's a real one-off. But actually, my favourite is the Waitakabuli Trail, which is in Dominica. It's the only, as far as I know, certainly in my part of the Caribbean, it's the only actual point-to-point trail that it's 115 miles long, in 14 sections. So it takes 14 days, although you can do it in 7. Yeah, it's quite a challenge because Dominica, as you know, is either up or down. But it is, it's quite a hike. Most of the hiking in the Caribbean is actually, it's day hiking. It's morning hikes. Certainly what we really have in Antigua. So you just go out and you'll be back by the pool by 11 o'clock. You go out at 6:37, have a good walk, and then you're back in your lounge chair with your cocktail if you so desire. Although in Antigua, we have actually developed a cross-island trail as well now. So we're trying to rival Dominica for that. It's only a 3-day hike. It's about 26 miles. And it takes in some of the most spectacular scenery we have. And we stay in Sugar Ridge, of course, because that's part of the reason for doing it all, is to put some business my way. It takes in Rendezvous Bay, which is a deserted beach. It takes in, some ravines and, all the big hilltop views. So we're just starting to promote that now. And that's part of, what we would like to be doing is developing a whole network of trails here. And part of the app is really doing that online first, you know, so that we've got all the hikes in place, all the information available, and then we will go to the government and get the signposts put up and get the trails maintained properly.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
Next up we have David, and I'm David Bowlin, and I describe him as the preeminent wellness influencer in the Caribbean. I mean, David has been around for longer than most people have been around. And, what an interesting background, from cultural director of culture in the Turks and Caicos Islands. He's traveled the world. He is a yoga guru. The only thing left for David to do, it sounds like, is maybe be prime minister or premier of the Turks and Caicos. But it sounds like David has worked in lots of different regions. He was one of the original yoga gurus in the Caribbean and still doing his thing. So David, tell us about yoga in the Caribbean. I know that you do a lot of work currently, and yoga is really increasing. I mean, years ago, you didn't hear much about yoga in many resorts, and I'm finding that in recent times, there's a huge demand for it. So tell us about yoga throughout the Caribbean, and what are some of the opportunities to even grow this, this niche even more?
Well, again, I want to say hello to everyone. It's an amazing experience to be among you guys and to hear what you are doing and doing your part for wellness and health in the Caribbean. I want to say that Sandals did a great job. They hired me in 1999, I think it was, at Grand Sport. They had Grand Sport, and Grand Sport had a rock climbing wall. We had yoga, we had meditation. There was a bike trail to ride off-road walking trails. So I must say I was very proud to be part of that. And also I introduced yoga to the Sandals brand before I came back to TCI at the beaches here. Now, I work now for the Grace Bay Club. It's part of the Grace Bay Resorts brand. And only the last 5 years, so they're very new to the wellness program. And what this pandemic has exposed is that we often think about wellness for our guests. We forget sometimes about the wellness of our own staff who work in the hotels and people who work around. So what I've been trying to do recently is to include more of the staff of the hotel and on island in general, all the people who work in the industry, to become more engaged in wellness themselves, because we find in the Caribbean that we have high blood pressure, diabetes, colon cancer. We are sick people because of many of our cultures and the food we eat. And I think that we need to really, even though we bring the wellness to our guests coming in, it's very important that when the guests come in, that there is a strong connection between the staff who work with the guests and who can showcase how the wellness actually can help them. So my role right now at the Grace Bay Club is to, of course, bring wellness to our guests who come for yoga. And I want to say about yoga, unfortunately, there's still this Western mentality that yoga is the new aerobics. And they come for this workout situation and they don't know the other layers of yoga. So I really want to focus on that at this hotel and eventually through our brand. But it's very important for us at this time to ensure that the people of the islands in the Caribbean are themselves well. We talk about the guests coming in from abroad. That's wonderful, but we should also approach how well the people of the Caribbean should be well in terms of their wellness and health. A part of that program from this hotel, I must say that during this pandemic, no one has been fired or let off from our hotel. So since March, no one has been fired. Everyone is still on the job. We do get, we of course, come down and pay, but that is also a wonderful help to the wellness of the people. So the worry about money coming in is one less step or one less thing off their agenda when it comes to anxiety. So the hotel is doing very well because the people in the hotel feel good. And when they feel good, our guests feel good. So we're trying to combine both, where the staff and the guests can both together experience the wellness. Yoga, in terms of how we teach it, we teach the fact that every move, every posture that you do, it's not just to build your muscles, but every posture has a direct effect on the 10 major organs: your stomach and spleen, your liver and kidneys, your bladder and your gallbladder, your heart and your colon, your lungs and your small intestines, etc. So the key is that everything you do has an inward benefit. So our motto here is 95% of yoga happens within you, under the skin. So we work on that aspect and not so much on the postures to build up strength and muscles. That is also the benefit, but to get into the mind and body. So the mind, the body, and the breath. So my mission, the next, I don't know how many years, is to really expose yoga to the Caribbean, through my island and then Caribbean, as a mind-body experience that can go into the communities. And once we have a healthy community, then it will be a natural when anyone from anywhere comes to the Caribbean, they will feel that sense, because we do have the sun, the sand, and the sea. But if we don't consider all the other aspects of yoga and healthy living, then it doesn't really do much for you, especially here in this country where about 85% of the people do not swim, for example. So again, we're trying to encourage that aspect of it to get the people of the country involved. I love about, we have no forest here. We have bush, lots of bush, but I love the concept of the forest concept. And Aiden, I love the whole, we have lots of trails here. We have many ancient slave trails that we would like to encourage people, because not only would it be wellness, but you're also bringing in culture and heritage. So we're trying to combine those things, but we are an island nation. You know, we are over 40 islands. Of that, we have about 6 main islands. And so it is very difficult to get from island to island. However, the government is definitely coming on board now. As they've seen through COVID, many people are depressed, they are anxious because they're scared, there's fear. And so every day I look out and I go out and I see people on the road walking who I've never seen before, who are in the gyms and who are doing things now because they realize how important wellness is. Wellness is, yes, it is the new wealth. It is the only wealth. It's the best wealth. So the key to our happiness here and everything the Caribbean is to ensure that the people who live here and the people who provide these wellness services are themselves well. So I'll stop there for now so we can hear other people.
Thank you so much, David. And I certainly agree with you. Wellness is certainly a personal as well as a professional responsibility. And I'm really excited to hear about the commitment that you have not only to your guests, but also to the employees. So really a great viewpoint, and certainly something that I think the travel advisors are happy to hear, because happy staff makes for great hospitality. So thank you for that, David. We have a bunch of Sandals current and past employees in our midst. So the next person I will move on to is Paulette Clark, who is, Paulette is the, let me get the title right. She is the group spa manager at Sandals. She's been there for over 20 years. And today she shared with me that she actually started out her professional career in banking, and she was really into skincare. And a lot of her employees, when she lived in New York, always commended her for her flawless skin. And so she was encouraged by family members to really start to study skincare and dermatology and take it more seriously. Moved back to Jamaica, was hired by Sandals, and that's where her career in wellness began, and health and beauty. So let's welcome Paulette. She is doing great things in Jamaica. Tell us about tell us about your journey in wellness and some of the opportunities as you see it in cultivating this whole niche.
Yeah, thank you. Like you said, I was a banker. I was in figures and not about skincare, but I was using this product and everybody thought it was a miracle, but I have good genes nonetheless. Right? And that's how I got into it. I decided to do a course in skincare. And what I found was when I left work in the afternoons and went to school at 5:30 till 9:30 each night, I wasn't even tired anymore. And normally at 3 o'clock at work, I would start wilting, so to speak. And I realized that, hold on, there has to be something in this. I'm fine up until 9 at night after working a full day, means I was enjoying what I was doing. And after graduating from skincare school, I looked at, different ways, what to do. And someone mentioned that Sandals was opening up spas in all their resorts. Why don't you come home? And that's exactly what I did. And I was hired as a manager, went to Turks and Caicos where I met David. We worked together at beaches, Turks and Caicos. And being with Sandals all these years, 21 years, not 22 many, right? For me, it has been a learning experience. This is where I learned spa. This is where I learned about health and wellness, coming from the financial sector. And it's been a great school for me. And right now with COVID, it has turned the world upside down. Things are different, but you know what? Like Stephanie said, we in the Caribbean, we don't have to reinvent the wheel because we've been doing wellness for years. We have so much to offer in the way of wellness, all the outdoor activities that Aidan and Carmen spoke about, and now David with yoga, we all encapsulate all of those, even within our resorts. We have we have tours where people can get to go and see the mountains and not just the sea. But what this has done for us though is it hasn't been created such a huge change in our spas because we have always focused on cleanliness, sanitation. Between clients, you ensure that the room is sanitized, sheets are changed, everything is sanitized. So it has been a great learning curve in our operation because I mean, it's kind of like the bedrock if you're running a proper facility to take care of people in the wellness and beauty business. And something that we have instituted is, normally we have lots of weddings. So we do a lot of brides and all that. So it's not just about doing the massages and the wraps and the scrubs that you need to consider during this time of COVID. Even for makeup, now they have their individual makeup, the tools, we're bringing in individual tools, whether it's the makeup brush, the one you use to put on the powder, and I'm putting packages together where our brides can purchase their own makeup to take home. We're not even making a profit of it, but because we are putting our guests first. It's not about profiting from anything. The makeup you buy, it's basically at cost that we bring it in, but we want to ensure no double dipping. And yeah, we trust our therapists and we trust ourselves, but at the same time, to give you that confidence in what we're doing and where we'll go to make sure you're safe. Because the face is the biggest conductor of COVID, obviously, because they're always saying, don't put your hand in your face, your eye, don't touch. So for makeup, I think, that is worth speaking about, where you get your own makeup and your own, we have individual tools. Normally we would sanitize tools that we use, the brushes, the this and that. We're bringing in our own tools, so each client, each bride or bridal party, they will get their own tools to be used on them. And we know with COVID, people want their own individual space, and they look at where they stay. And I can say for our resorts, for Sandals, our platinum protocols is all out there for the world to see. So if you go on the website, you'll see what we're doing during COVID to keep our guests safe. We haven't reinvented all our treatments, but what we have done, we have taken out a few that we think would appeal to the guest who is looking for stress relief, because this has been a very stressful time for everybody, I'm sure, including all of us who are giving relief, as David said, to the clients who are coming in stress. So we took from our menu of services and we have recommended what we think would make an impact on making you well and feeling better about yourself. And when you leave us, you feel purified and relaxed, so to speak. So that is how we as a spa are contributing to taking care of people during this COVID time, to our valued guests who come to us. And I have found that we have a few resorts open so far. You know, we have to test the waters. And people are flocking to the spa because obviously they need stress relief, healing, purifying, whatever word you want to use to describe what they need. I mean, we could come with a whole paragraph of what people need. And we let them tell us what's happening to them. Then we can recommend, or they come in and say, can I get X, Y, Z? So one thing I can guarantee, if they come to us and what we're doing is you won't get COVID. It won't be passed on because we use PPE is in our spas, right? As should be expected, because people will wonder, how is it you're gonna do a massage? But our therapists are protected. We ensure that all our staff, not just our therapists, all our staff are protected with their masks and their gloves, and some, you know, depending on the service you're doing. Because, I mean, it's very important to us that we take care of them. Because without them, we cannot take care of you, you know, who's coming in. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Paulette. You certainly have took us on a comprehensive journey to assure us that Sandals is focused on, you know, the health and well-being and the safety and hygienic concerns of their clients. And I know lots of the travel advisors, it's a major concern in selling their products to their clients. You mentioned weddings and honeymoons, and I hadn't even thought about that in terms of their basic needs. So we're definitely moving to a more contactless environment in hospitality, which is renowned to be in a high contact, high touch type of product. So you certainly have delved into some issues that we all should be very cognizant of as we attempt to deliver on wellness options.
Yeah, thank you.
People travel to heal, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we reassure them. So next up, I have Karen Ebanks, Karen Birch Ebanks. She's a wellness advocate. We had a great chat yesterday with the whole team, and I can see Karen, like most of our influencers here today, has a lot of experience throughout the Caribbean. She is now an independent wellness advocate. And so Karen, let me give you an opportunity to share your passion about wellness and to tell us about your experiences and your recommendations for the future of Caribbean wellness.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world.
All bases covered.
All bases covered. It's wonderful to have been invited on this forum. Thank you so much. It's like a reunion, sort of. There's so many panelists that, you know, I haven't spoken to in so long. We all seem to have a connection with each other. And so it's really, really wonderful to be able to connect, which is what I think is so essential, connection. Whether it's by distance, by technology, whether it's 6 feet apart, connection. David spoke about wellness for staff as well as for guests. And he's absolutely correct. You're not your best, and you cannot provide your best if your cup isn't full and overflowing. no matter what it is that you're doing. To be able to give to others, whether it is your family, whether it is your friends, whether it is in your profession, whether it is to guests, you have to have your cup overflowing. And how do you do that? Wellness. It starts with you, and it starts with being able to understand the key elements of wellness that we have in the Caribbean surrounding us every single day of life that we take for granted as persons living in the Caribbean. However, people pay lots of dollars to travel here for 4 nights, 5 nights, 14 nights to enjoy the elements that provide this unique wellness that we in the Caribbean take for granted ourselves. Simple as the ocean. All these islands are surrounded by the lovely ocean. The sea is phenomenally therapeutic. You're tired, you go in for a soak, and you come out feeling refreshed. All our travel partners can tell you what do they use to say to their guests? The ocean. The ocean is right there, it's available. Where else can you find this purity of the air? But in the Caribbean. Where else can you go to and climb a mountain and do a hike and enjoy that air? When the rain falls, I'm sure lots of you can connect with me on this, and that sweet smell of rain coming up from the ground, where else can you really enjoy that? But we take it for granted. But people come and they say to us, wow, this is beautiful. And we're like, what? I was speaking yesterday, and I had mentioned and given an example of a guest who had said to me, it's so loud one evening. And I'm like, what do you mean it's so loud? And she's like, can't you hear? And I'm like, no. And basically when I stopped and engaged in what she was saying, it was the sound of the crickets, the sound of the nighttime insects out there, which when you really stop and observe, it's a beautiful melody, but we take it for granted. But these are the things that are, without spending any money, it's wellness. Bringing the awareness to the elements of nature and understanding and observing and pointing it out to the people who actually come to enjoy our shores and say, no, it's not noise, but it's actually a melody. The birds chirping in the morning, as simple as a rooster crowing, we take that for granted and maybe we're even a little annoyed by it. But it's a beautiful thing if we tune into it correctly and raise our vibration to understand the beauty of that really, really simple form of nature. I want to move on to say, in this particular times, COVID related, we are all small island states. And we know that we have a lot less resources than the bigger first world countries. And so to the travel partners out there and to persons who have not yet pressed that button but are hovering over it and hesitating in buying your travel package, because we're aware of our limitation with resources, that is the #1 reason that we have put systems in place, we have put protocols in place, we have standardized safety, because we depend on tourism. Our economies need the travelers to come into the states, into the countries, into the islands, to spend their dollars to sustain us. And for this very, very reason, more than anywhere else in the world, I think the Caribbean is aware of how important it is that a person coming in is totally stress-free, comfortable, knows what is going to happen before they arrive, knows what they have to do as well in part of planning their vacation experience to come into the island. Once on the island, what is expected so that you can actually enjoy your time with us. We cannot take that for granted. We have not taken it for granted. And of course, as Paulette alluded to, a lot of the information on resorts, as well as I'm in Jamaica currently, and I know other islands also have their information on website portals that you could go to, and they've been quite clear, they've been quite very, what's the word I'm looking for? That they have been transparent in all of what they have done to make sure, yes, it's a little bit more challenging, yes, it's a lot more tedious, there are a lot more things that you have to do now to travel. That's fair. We're not in normal times, so that is an expectation. However, it is very important to know that because we're small, because we depend on this business, the things that we've put in place, we are taking extremely seriously because we want the traveler to come. We want the traveler to come and be comfortable. We want the traveler to come and leave and produce testimonies about their vacation experience, to reassure others who are hesitant, to say that this, yes, it took 3 hours, whereas normally it would take an hour, but guess what? It's for our greater good. You should come. Everything else is happening. The hiking, the earthing, the meditations, the yoga, everything else actually is happening, and is happening to a greater sense, at a higher intention, even more than before. And even more than before, we're aware of what we have to offer. A couple of weekends ago, Madonna celebrated her vacation in Jamaica. Madonna came to Jamaica. So if the celebrities are comfortable to travel, hello, press that button. Press that button and confirm that you're coming, and whatever island you choose, it's okay. Go out there, do your research, understand, and you'll be a lot more comfortable knowing with the information that you have. Again, it's about getting the information and not just traveling and thinking, oh, get the information. It's a different norm. So you have to have and engage and participate in informing yourself and knowing what we have done to take care of you, to take care of our stakeholders, what the resorts are doing, so that you can be quite comfortable. There is a thing that is called, well, the word is social distancing. I prefer physical distancing. And here's my take on that a little bit. I have lived away from St. Lucia since 2009. I've seen my mom maybe 3 times in those 10, 11 years. I would love to be with my mom every day, but my life is here in Jamaica. My mom lives in St. Lucia, as well as my siblings. Do I miss my mom? Yeah, but I'm physically distant from her. I speak to my mom every day. I have a connection with her. I don't miss out on anything. She doesn't miss out on anything in our life. We celebrate birthdays via Zoom, via WhatsApp video. We speak to each other every day. We see each other. We laugh, we cry, we speak. And so even though there's an emphasis now on being distant, I think that we've done a disservice to being distant. I think we've exaggerated how terrible it is, when really and truly, a lot of us live differently or in different places from our families, from our friends. I have friends who I worked with in the Bahamas. Some of them are now in Canada. Some of them are now in the States. Some of them have gone back home. And we communicate and talk every day. We're best friends. We haven't lost that connection. We haven't lost the ability to communicate. We before COVID, we were all physically distant.
Hold that thought, Karen.
But Karen, yes, sorry. Yes.
You know what? Hold that thought. I know you are the wellness, I said advocate. Yesterday I called you the evangelist. I'm ready to say amen. But no, you shared some really insightful and passionate messages with us. But we will come back to you. I want to get a chance to introduce our final panelists here. We have Dr. Samantha, who is from Ojas Wellness Center. She's actually a doctor. She actually is, hang on, let me get her information. Here she is. She actually has a medical degree in Indian holistic medicine, and she treats patients who suffer from chronic illnesses using yoga, breathing techniques, and other types of medication. I'd like to bring in Dr. Samantha to tell us about her journey. I know that she sees patients more, she is the only doctor here, and she actually tries to help people with their nutritional as well as their lifestyle programs. So Dr. Samantha, give us a chance, tell us a bit about your journey, and then we will go to our final panelist, who will also share his journey as well. Dr. Samantha?
Yes, I am here. Namaste to everyone. And very pleased to meet you all. First of all, I'd like to thank you all And thank you, Karen, everybody, Jared, and Mr. Destang, who put me here. All right. So I myself completed natural medicine and yoga in India. It's a 5.5 years medicine course. After I completed, I was working in different part of wellness centers in India. So I came to St. Lucia in 2013, and I was working at Lesbo, Body Holiday, and doing all the holistic programs. And then I'm doing now with OJ Spa and Wellness, treating different chronic conditions like everyday yoga classes, meditation. And one of our main treatment program is Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is very olden system of medicine, 5,000 years before, if you all heard about. And Ayur is life, Veda is knowledge. So knowledge of life. It's not just a medicine, it's a way of life. So in Ayurveda, there are treatments to treat with like external and internally using lots of herbs. So first I want to mention the herbs here is because Caribbean, St. Lucia here, so have lots of herbs. You see the fresh coconuts, you get amazing, wonderful turmeric. There are many trees that has therapeutic benefits. That is neem tree, moringa tree. You have lovely mangoes. What else you want to treat for your internal, to better immunity. So you don't have to have any single doubt to come to Caribbean as a travel, because you have everything in hand to improve your immunity. Yes, yes. I'm seeing all the herbs and I'm using all the herbs. You have the black peppers, cumin seeds, lovely herbs. Yeah. So in Ayurveda, there are treatments to reduce the stress level, because after this COVID pandemic, the research says so many of anxiety and mental health problems are increased. So what we are looking into the wellness tourism, we can do a lot of holidays like immune boosting holiday, lung function boosting holiday, yoga detox retreat, de-stress holiday. There are many ways we can do it to improve our wellness tourism. So when it comes to the de-stress, in Ayurveda, the treatment's called Shirodhara. That's a third eye treatment, the warm medicated oil flow on your third eye chakra. It helps to reduce the stress, anxiety, and insomnia, headache, migraine. And there's another treatment where we do put all the herbs in a bundle. That's called Kiri treatment, hot herbal poultice massage. So that's where I use all the neems, turmeric, ginger, garlic, and moringa. And you have so many tamarind trees. We use the tamarind leaves. We make our herbal bundle fresh, and we use a treatment that's called bolus bag, hot herbal poultice massage. It's a very good detoxifying treatment, good for all different kinds of pains and aches, so much inflammation. That's one of the best treatment too. And we also do, of course, yoga, different styles of yoga. I'm, in my study, yoga is a main part. So Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga, it doesn't matter what style of yoga I teach therapeutic yoga. So for a condition, if you want to reduce weight, if you want to improve your respiratory function, you want to increase the flexibility, or it doesn't matter what are the concern you have, but therapeutic yoga we teach. And of course, when it comes to lung function boosting, so all the pranayama, because when your lungs are, having a good capacity to take the oxygen, you get your immunity naturally without doing any drugs. So that's one of the other thing we do. In also, I have all my points because in Ayurveda, of course, OJ Spa and Bay Gardens, beach resorts, all the Bay Gardens hotels, we are collaborating and doing all these Ayurvedic treatments to our guests come in the Bay Gardens. since last 1.5 years, and it's going very well with them. And then we now, after COVID, looking into do more of yoga program, because for that you can do outdoor. You have anyway physical distancing. All the resorts have a big space, you know, outside the beach and everywhere. You can do a very good outdoor yoga program. And one more thing I have was, of course, the food hygiene practices. So as from a natural medicine doctor, so I'm planning to introduce more of how to add some kind of herbs in anything like juices, healthy juices or smoothies, or even salad. You add minimum of herbs that helps to improve. The turmeric, the garlic, the pepper, all has antioxidant, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. So we're thinking of doing that also. The main thing, we have to ensure the guest is, our place is safe to come in. So that's what we're trying to do it. And trust and confident to give our guests. And of course, I was doing the slides with all our questions they have given me, like how travelers, health and safety concerns in a COVID era changed. For that, I have done this slide. All the guests to have updated knowledge on travel protocols for the country of travel. Of course, St. Lucia has a different, and the other countries has a different, mainly because of the location. And refrain from touching mouth and nose, wearing the mask, and 6 feet social distancing. And of course, elderly people who have high blood pressure or diabetes or any other health concerns, the respiratory problems, they are more prone to high risk of COVID. So for them, we have to be given more attention to make sure they are safe to come here by using our herbal welcome juices and everything. And yeah, so, and then implementing the health checkup, like temperature checkup and blood pressure checkup and everything.
Dr. Samantha, give me one moment. I want to make sure that we give Callis an opportunity, given our time constraints, to tell us a bit about what he does. So we'll double back to you, given our time restraints. Callis, tell us about your journey and some of the great work that you're doing at Lemur. Let me get my French in order. And tell us about some of the treatments that you offer, but I'm particularly interested in hearing about how you've had to pivot to offer your services in the time of COVID, and also tell us in the long term how you see this evolving, you know, wellness tourism evolving, given the challenges that we currently face. And, you know, once things return to somewhat of a normal type of pace, what can we expect? So tell us about what you're doing in St. Lucia.
All right. Hi, everyone. So at the moment, I would be quite honest from my observation. I know that with the COVID, it had us down for about maybe 4 months, but we started doing services 2 weeks ago. Strangely, when we went through the protocols and so forth, the spa was always on top, because with the spa, even before COVID, we were already sanitizing and we were already practicing different hygienes. So it wasn't really new to us. It was just an enhanced version of what we're already doing. At the moment, I can be quite honest again that the guests are quite fearless. I think the dream of having a vacation in the Caribbean has not stopped the guests. For the past month of August, we've been catering to so many guests. And everyone wants to do massages because everyone is stressed out. Everyone has been in quarantine. Everyone has been at home for months. And providing that service to everyone who comes in. And the initiative Big Gardens took that I give them my full support for was providing the spa treatments to the all-inclusive guests. so the guests get the opportunity to have a spa treatment done. I think the guests are quite excited even before they land in St. Lucia that the spa is included in the stay. They don't even really care much on the food or the drinks offered with their packages, but they're more excited just to visit us at the spa. And like someone said, wellness means everything. And even when the guests come to me, I'm more than happy to let them know that the benefits the massages have. We offer other services like body scrubs and facials, pedis and manis, but everyone is always leaning over to do massages. And like Samantha said, we also collaborate as well. So we do a few Ayurvedic treatments. At the moment, things are just building up, so we haven't had the chance to continue the Ayurvedic treatments, but we are continuing with the massages. My main focus on my team members is safety. So everyone almost looks like surgeons because they're wearing their protective wear, their caps, their gowns, and socks. And I know the guests have embraced the new initiatives we've taken in helping to protect themselves and protect our team members as well. Moving forward, I don't think anything drastic may change because the Caribbean, like I said, is the main focus for most travelers. Everyone is almost happy to come to the Caribbean, and just the idea of being able to experience the beach and experience our culture, they pretty much cope well with our protocols. Right now, the guests are in quarantine for 14 days. They're not allowed to roam the island, but everyone seems to be happy. Everyone seems to be still checking in. Initially, I thought that our world would really turn upside down because everyone would be afraid to travel. But like I said, the guests have proved that they're fearless for the sake of enjoying the Caribbean experience, from St. Lucia to Jamaica to Antigua. You know, sitting and speaking with the guests and hearing how much they love traveling from island to island, especially our timeshare owners, speaks volumes. So right now, what we're trying to do is to have the guests more involved. And like Samantha said, what we want to do is also introduce yoga. We're in the phase of still practicing the social distancing and so forth. But when things do pick up, it's a service that I would really love to see the guests try out because mental health to me is also important. Enjoying your vacation and like David said, mental health is also extended to the staff as well. And if the staff are happy, the guests are happy. So putting that awareness out there, you know, doing yoga and even volunteering to do massages for team members as well, just to show everyone how important wellness is.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
And most persons with wellness, there's that stigma that spa is aligned to women only. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when persons see me at the spa, they always raise their eyebrow because the first thing they're saying is there's a guy working at the spa. But but our biggest clientele are males. When the wives drag their husbands, and now the husbands don't even come with their wives.
Oh wow!
The men now are focusing on their well-being, and I've worked at the spa for almost 6 years, and I'll be quite honest. We see a lot of men coming to do massages and pedicures.
But hold that thought, Callis. Before I want to, we're kind of pressed for time, and I really appreciate your contributions. Happy to hear that you guys are collaborating with Dr. Samantha. I mean, that's definitely a winning proposition in terms of having someone available to actually diagnose chronic illnesses in addition to the treatments that you offer. But I want to double back quickly to Stephanie. Stephanie, you are the industry guru. And I want to make sure that before we end here today, we get some sense. I know that you have your finger on the pulse from an industry perspective in terms of where we go at the end of the COVID pandemic. So Stephanie, I'd like to hear more from you in terms of what you're hearing, the projections for the industry, and we will give everyone a final 1 minute to give their perspective about their predictions for the future. And I also encourage our viewers and our participants to begin to post questions. I know some of you have already done so, but we definitely want to allocate about 15 minutes or so to address all of your questions. I know that some of you want to connect with a panelist to get more information. So Stephanie, tell us about your perspective, and then I'll go around the room, I'll go around the panel to get everyone's closing words, looking down the road and you know, projecting into the future what our plans and our expectations are for Caribbean wellness. So Stephanie, take it away.
Well, thank you. I would not say I'm a guru. I would say I'm a community organizer. So I do collect information and insight from all of these people. And to reflect back to what Karen said, the way we go forward, the Caribbean has been the most protective of their territories in their region and reopening in their process of any countries or region I've seen. So I think there is so confidence, like Ms. Paulette mentioned, with their platinum program and reopening and sharing all of that. And the more information we share with consumers about what we are doing, I think the more confidence we build, and consumers want to see it out in the open. Like we've seen partnerships like Lysol with Four Seasons. I mean, as a hotelier in 5 million years, I never thought that would be a thing.
Yes.
It's very odd, but consumers want to see that transparency. And there used to be a back of the house of hospitality, which isn't going to exist anymore. They want to see it out in the open. And
absolutely,
as Callis mentioned, and Karen and Paulette, you know, these are procedures that we've always done. Maybe it's to a new level, particularly in spa wellness. We've always taken cleanliness and sanitation very seriously. I think the only difference now is maybe we've just taken the fourth wall out of that, and we're letting the consumers and the guests see what we're doing exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more collaboration and community, because we're not all going through this in a silo. We're all a part of this community. And, you know, the Caribbean is the hardest hit, in my opinion. They are 100%, most territories, maybe outside of Trinidad, dependent on tourism. And it may be 1 in 10 jobs in the world. It's 1 in 1 jobs in most of the Caribbean, or in some way of support, even grocery stores down to, you know, everything, independent restaurants, it's all reliant on tourism. And so now missing a majority part of the season and coming into, you know, hurricane season and low season, it's kind of devastating. So I think we have to all band together as a community. And as David mentioned, he's shaking his head, and this is one of the big initiatives I had in the Turks and Caicos, and I'm so glad David has taken this on, is the wellness. And we have to think about, too, the mental health of our employees and our islands and our people, not just their physical health, but now their mental health of suffering through this isolation and this depression of income. Is going to be one for years to come. Like, this isn't a couple of months, let's get to the next stage. COVID is not disappearing. So I think we all have to band together as a community, as wellness experts, as Caribbean enthusiasts. As Karen mentioned, she's lived in multiple islands, and I know Ms. Paulette gets to travel all over the region, as is David, that we all just have to band together and work together foreseably for the next couple of years. And not
it's
to be
great.
but it's I don't think it's an easy solution or easy fix.
I think we all agree with you. Let's go to Aiden. Aiden, you have a hotel to run, you have tour companies that you know, you have to continue to deliver in very challenging times. Tell us about the future. What are your immediate plans? How do you see this evolving, the wellness tourism, for your businesses?
Well, I mean, we are anticipating a slow recovery. As everyone has said, we've put everything in place. All our livelihoods depend on it, so we're taking it very seriously. But essentially, we are still expecting the airlift at the end of the day to be smaller than that's been in previous years. So we are focusing on we have some villas. We think we're going to have smaller groups of maybe high-end customers who will want an even more enriched wellness experience. So we have some other suppliers of those services that we're working with to create new programs. We're doing more retreats and really focusing on more of a wellness, but perhaps for fewer numbers as we move forward. It's going to be very challenging for the hotel for sure. I think we're doing everything we can, and we're going to open on November the 5th with some great special offers and some new incentives, and we're going to push forward as we ever do.
Okay, so please ensure that you send us your special rates, and hopefully you have some special rates to travel advisors when you reopen. We have a whole team here waiting to assist you. Thanks, Aidan.
Thank you so much.
Let's move on to David. David, tell us about, you've seen it all from various aspects of the industry. Tell us what your projections are for the future and, perhaps how we can collaborate more. Aidan raised that issue, and I think that's one of the links that we need to really capitalize on. How can suppliers and stakeholders collaborate more to ensure that we can get out of this pandemic, not unscathed, but at least with some measure of strength? David?
Yes, I was on mute for a while. Well, okay. One thing, I think that we need to have more of these discussions, again, among ourselves. So maybe not so much for the community, but among ourselves, and see how we can help each other, because we do live in different islands and we have different circumstances to deal with on each island. What I think that's going to happen is going to be a lot of more online services. It's going to be more virtual. I'm working on a program now at my hotel where the guests will have Zoom classes, yoga, online Zoom. So they can come to me because we now have a 6-person minimum maximum for our classes. So we have a program that we are starting where they can stay in their room. We'll give them the mats. We'll make sure everything's done. But then they'll have a live Zoom class with me or with other persons. So I think online classes is probably the way to go. I like what Carmen did about the whole virtual thing. It's fantastic. So I think that's going to be something. However, there's nothing like being present in a particular class. There's nothing like being there. However, I personally think that this whole COVID pandemic is going to change the mindset of a lot of people who never thought about health and wellness like that. So it's for us as individuals and our communities and our islands and where we are to really, really preach the gospel of health and wellness. So as a community of stakeholders, then we have to do our best to ensure that we encourage domestic tourism within our own islands, to welcome our own people to the hotels and to the different various spa offerings we have to give out. But globally, we want to make sure that we are all connected, sharing things that are working for us, that we can all kind of take on and say, okay, I can use that, I can use that, I can't use that. But if we collaborate, then it's better for all of us. So I think collaboration, we should do this again, but again, only as, as industry workers and not so much out in the public, but talk among ourselves to see what works and what doesn't work. That's where I really, really would like to see happen.
Fantastic. Miss Paulette, tell us where we go in the future. How do you see this evolving? What recommendations do you have for your industry colleagues and stakeholders to move forward with wellness tourism?
Okay, I wholesomely agree that we as a group of professionals in the industry need to get together more and do more of these Zoom calls. Stephanie's been trying so hard over the years just to get all of that going. And I think COVID has set you up, Stephanie, where it's gonna finally happen, which is a good thing that has come from it. I'm willing to be on whenever, not every week, but you know, we do more collaboration. And what I do see is for fitness, whether it's yoga or something else, more one-on-one classes, replacing, you know, the big group classes, not even 6 people, but more one-on-one. And we're offering more purifying, immune boosting spa services, because I mean, that is gonna, I mean, this pandemic is gonna hang on for years. I mean, whether it's the people who have had it or who have not had it. So to me, the spa industry now need to really focus on providing purifying, immune boosting services, whatever those are. I'm not expert on
preventative, you know, medicines like Dr. Samantha alluded to. Absolutely.
Then, yeah, using technology to replace all the paper we now have. We all have it regardless. Yep. And using technology, the apps on their phones, which we're starting to do, put in your menus and whatever it is you have, rather than having every guest going with a little package to their room full of paper. That would help. And one last thing, David, what we talk about yoga a lot in the Caribbean, but we don't have many institutes that offer training the hours someone might need. And I'm sure we could look at doing something like that, David, virtually. Then maybe once a year or once in a 6-month period, you have people come together. Because the islands, I mean, it's expensive to travel into Ireland or whatever. So I don't know how, but we need to get more people qualified.
Definitely a great suggestion. Let me move on over to Karen. Karen, give us your closing words.
Yes, I'll make it short. I particularly think that for the future, we need to look at expanding and developing the modalities that are currently offered by our care providers, whether it's in the spas, whether it's a resort spa, a day spa. We need to look past the Swedish massage. Nothing wrong with the Swedish massage. I'm not saying that, but we need to develop wellness in the care of Reiki, chakra energy healing, Thai, where you don't have to take off your clothes, but you can be comfortable in loose clothing, nutrition care, where you can actually go into a resort spa and say, you know, help me with, this is what I'm eating. I want to sign up for a dialogue with a nutritionist. I want to speak to somebody who can help me to heal myself with food, by using the right foods, which we have in abundance in the Caribbean, as Samantha was saying. And that nutritionist can speak to the herbs that are indigenous to the island that you can put in the food to make it tasty, because maybe without those herbs, it's rather bland. Because, you know, fast food is nice because of the taste. Health foods are not so nice, although they're good for us. So that there are an abundance of herbs in every single Caribbean country. It is grown in our grandmother's backyards. It is along the roadsides, for goodness sake, growing wild. We just have to tap into that resource. Again, we take it for granted. The garlic, the turmeric, everything that is grown can be used to develop and we can speak to that using our culture to develop with the tourists a nutrition course, a nutrition sort of education, right?
Yeah.
They can leave with, take back home, and because wellness is about continuance of doing something that is good for you. Exactly. So it's not just you come to the Caribbean and you experience this, but how are we going to help you to take this back with you?
Right.
I think that's what we have to look at expanding and developing as well.
And you know what, Karen, with an advocate or evangelist like you, we're in safe hands. Let's move on to move on to Dr. Samantha. I'm not sure if Carmen is still on the line, but let me move on to Dr. Samantha so she can give us her 1-minute synopsis and recommendations for the future. Dr. Samantha?
Yeah, hi. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
we can hear you.
Look like it's stuck. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's no question the wellness tourism will definitely high up and increase, because now after COVID, all people are, thinking about their personal health. How can they improve, right? So how can they improve their immunity? Because if you see the cases, the news all saying about, the people dying is because they have less immunity. The people who have, got the corona, but they're not dying because they're getting for, good improvement. It's because of their original own immunity. So definitely there's no doubt wellness tourism will high up. I have a confidence, and we are confident, and we will be definitely doing good at Bay Gardens. And as I mentioned, using all those herbs. And one of the other treatment I forget to tell in that is Calorie Bianga or Marma massage. Marma is a pressure point, and which works on the lymphatic system. That lymphatic, in our body is the drainage, the waste products. So start from where it starts, the metabolic end products, and to the eliminating system, the lymphatic system has to work very good. So these massages works on the lymphatic system. So we're going to promote all these naturally improving immune system, and that will definitely work. That's what I'm looking into, move on more for improve the wellness tourism. Yes.
Fantastic. Callis, let's hear your final thoughts. I wish we had more time so we could hear more about some of the hands-on experiences that you've been having since reopening. But tell us, where you see wellness tourism going and what's in store for St. Lucia and your resort.
All right, well, sorry, Karen and Paulette made a good point in terms of introducing something new to the spa, especially with the pandemic going on, where we can focus on immune boosting and as well as trying out different massages. Because in truth, the Swedish massages is excellent, but trying something different, especially in these times, would really be, good. But with Samantha on our team, it's going to be a good step forward. So at least it's something where we can sit and discuss in terms of whether we push, introducing cold juices to the guests after the treatments, so we can do detox flushes and so forth. So those are the plans I would like to see happening for us at Bay Gardens at the spa.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Carmen, I'm not sure if you're still on the line. I know you were going to jump off early. Carmen Portela, are you on the line? Okay, sounds like we lost Carmen. To our distinguished panelists, I want to thank every one of you for your contributions. We started out in Washington, D.C. with Stephanie Rest, and we took a nice little journey throughout the Caribbean, stopping in Jamaica. We stopped in Antigua, Turks and Caicos, St. Lucia. I hope I didn't forget. When you start itemizing, you forget your list sometimes, but we definitely had a virtual journey through some of the wellness, a virtual wellness journey throughout the Caribbean. And I think we're all satisfied that the Caribbean is on the right path despite the circumstances. I think it's great, and let me knock on wood, that we've been able to keep the incidence of the coronavirus relatively low in the Caribbean through responsibility and through being just very careful, as someone pointed out, in managing the entire pandemic. So we will publish contact information for all of our panelists. We certainly wish that we had more time. There's never enough time, but I think hopefully this discussion will be the first in many ongoing discussions that we have as a group, and we invite even more wellness enthusiasts and specialists throughout the region to be a part of this as we reshape the industry, which, you know, as we've heard from everyone today, is growing by leaps and bounds because people feel the need to travel to heal. So there's so many opportunities, there's so many unmet needs, and there's just so much that we can tap into to make it happen. So I want to thank all of you for joining us. Our next wellness initiative is our Caribbean Wellness Walk. If you have not joined Travel Advisors Selling the Caribbean, I know that we have some non-members here with us. Go to our Facebook group and join the movement. We are trying to move the Caribbean forward and to strengthen our product in spite of the challenges that we're facing today. So I know that we are over time. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a guest or panelist today. And we look forward to doing this very soon in the near future. It's been a great celebration of National Wellness Month throughout the month of August. And I want to thank all of you for participating. Have a great afternoon, and we will connect with you very soon. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reed. Bye.
Okay,
bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.